strips those out so that we can perform our best. I like to listen to Gary Vee's podcast once in a while, and he talks a lot about not consuming any content, meaning social media and podcasts and all those things. But yet, at the same time, he's got a lot to say. So, I really looked into that, and I realized that I was consuming too much content. And all of a sudden, like I mentioned, you get up, you pop on social media, and you just burn 30 minutes, on looking at other people's posts and Instagrams and stuff like that, which has zero productivity and really is not the best way to start your day, because it might either start negatively or you might see something you don't want to see. The list goes on. So I started cutting that out of my life, and I realized I was much healthier for it, and all because Gary Vee says I don't consume any content. So it's funny how you pick things up from other people and you flesh out your own weaknesses.
Yeah, Gary Vee's he's a very interesting person with that, and piggybacking on top of the content, I noticed, for me, I looked at it as it's taking energy away. It's the same notion as having death by 1,000 cuts, except this is in the form of kind of slowly depleting our daily energy battery. Is that there's this information that's just taking up space in our brain that could be used elsewhere, such as connecting with our families, or attacking our work with better quality, or even getting done with our work sooner, so we can have more time for today. Because I was guilty of this, and I'm still kind of am, that there are certain tasks and things that take much longer than they should. And so that's why I think having focus and intentionality are two powerful tools that I think are a necessity.
Yeah, and talking about what you consume, not only from a food aspect, but also, we talk about consuming content. For me, the other thing I cut out of my life was the news. Listening to too much news and negativity for me was taking me down too. And I think it's important that we really are cautious about what we put into not only our bodies, but into our mind. I started tapering down on some of the violent TV shows or things that weren't adding value there. And I just feel so much better for it. I don't know what's happening on the latest HBO series program, but there's a lot of other great things to talk about. But at the same time, I feel better for it because I'm not consuming, something that's so dramatic that it's affecting me.
Yeah, and you're busy living instead of just consuming, because that takes up a lot of time. Like, I recently got on Netflix for a little bit, and it's overwhelming. There's so many options, and then just the way it's designed, it can keep you consumed for hours. Hours and hours can go by, and you're just wondering where the day went. And it's the news is kind of that way too, to a certain extent, and how it's programming your mind, and your whole lens of the world is going to change colors just by the information that you just watched. Yeah.
So, with that said, and learning a little bit about where you're at, what advice can you give our listeners just overall in general as a takeaway for them as they listen to the show and what you're all about?
Oh, man, I think this is unconventional advice maybe, but I think the best thing you can do is to start knowing yourself more, to get to know yourself more. Basically, picture it like you're a sports team and you're getting a scouting report ready, but you're going to do a personal audit on yourself, a scouting report on yourself, starting with a vision of who you most want to be, where you're going in life, and then also have an anti-vision for the person who you don't want to be, the person who you despise the most. Because I use this motivation for an anti-vision of when I'm lacking motivation, I imagine being that person, and I think of the pain that caused, and then I also read it. So I wrote down my vision and my anti-vision, and I review that just so I make sure I don't become that person.
Yeah. Tell us about how people can get a hold of you and what they can receive from you if they wanted to work from you. Because I think, again, perusing through your website, you offer a tremendous amount of value for the right people, and and I would love to see them visit your site. Like I mentioned earlier in the show, you got some great blogs on there. Your approach to health has your 7 pillars of energy. So I love that that's available there. But what's the best thing for people to look out for as it relates to what you're offering?
Yeah, the best thing you can do is just go to theartoffitnessandlife.com, which is my home base, and you'll have a plethora of resources there. There's even a free case study video that you can watch where I'm talking about things such as the biggest mistakes that people make when it comes to having more energy and automating their health, 3 pivotal things that people who succeed long-term with their health do compared to those who don't. And so that's a free video that I recorded, and you can get that at the website. And then other than that, you can always reach out at email at julian@theartoffitnessandlife.com with any questions. It doesn't matter if it's health or even just about saying yes to an opportunity that you're getting scared about, because I know how it is, and it takes a community, a village, to ultimately succeed. And I wouldn't be here without so many others who helped me.
Yeah, and I think, I just wanted to revisit what you said, or what your path was, is that you were going down the road of pursuing a college degree in a field that you were interested in, but ultimately you found other things that you were more passionate about, which developed into this wonderful business that you've created. I can see how extensive it is through the materials that you've put out. You've got a book out there, and your video content is incredible. So I want to congratulate you on your success with all of that, because it was non-conventional, but yet you are so put together, and your offerings for other people and the ability to help other people is very impressive. And I just love what you're doing as well, for people and helping them both in corporate wellness and personal wellness, and a well-rounded support system you've created.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So if you're listening to the show, you can go to The Art of Fitness and Life and check out what Julian's offering. And thanks for being on the show. We look forward to following up with you in the future and seeing what you're doing then.
Sounds good, man. Thank you for having me on again. It was a pleasure to be here, and I truly hope that your listeners got at least one nugget that they can immediately implement to start making this year even more better.
Yeah, I do as well. Thanks. Well, that's this week's show, and I really appreciated the time that Julien gave us. I would highly encourage you to sign up for his website. He's got a newsletter/blog. Really, it's probably more of a blog that I've signed up for, and I'm already receiving them, and great little words of wisdom. So if you're not signed up for anybody else that's shooting you some positive reinforcement every day, I'd certainly encourage you to do that. It's already coming across great in the things that he shared with me. So I appreciate him being on the show. If you like what we're doing, please send us a message and/or share with a friend or relative and let them know what we're doing over here. And if you have somebody that might be interested in being on the show that you think's a good fit and we should be telling their story, I'd love to hear from you as well. So with that, what you believe is what you'll achieve, as Mark Victor Hansen always says. And David Meltzer constantly reminds me in the morning to write down all the things that I know I have more than enough of and be grateful. And that's where my head is at this year. I am surprised by the more I give to others, the more that comes back to me. And I think that for me is what's setting the tone for 2019. I feel like I've given out a lot in the last quarter of 2018, and I think that it's come back to me tenfold. And I'm just going to continue to do that because the process works. I think the vibration works, the positive energy. And, it just feels good. So let me know if you've got some great ideas and things that you're doing, and I'd love to share that with everybody. So thanks for tuning in. Look forward to sending another show to you next week.